Team meeting, quick.
Hey everyone, Nikon here from the Hyperactive Bookworm with my lovely buddy reader, Chris Bannor.
Hello.
All right, so today we are going to be talking about Tim Mendees' Miracle Growth. I mean, seriously, look at that cover. That is some twisted shit. It's fabulous. All right, so me and Chris have both read this. We're lucky enough to get advanced reader copies for it. So thanks, Tim. Thanks, Erie River Publishing, who is actually the publisher for this book. We're here to talk about Tim's book, and in true Tim fashion, we have our alcohol ready. Excellent. What are you drinking, Chris? What are you drinking?
This is Riesling from my favorite winery up in San Francisco.
You're getting all fancy on me, what? You getting all fancy on me?
My brother went not long ago, and whenever he goes, he grabs me a bottle or two for babysitting his kids or his dogs or whatever I'm watching while he's gone. So that's my wine.
And this is my tribute to Tim, my good old gin and tonic. And of course I've got mint in it because I'm not a lemon or lime girl in the gin. You gotta have different mixes. So anyway, so we are actually here and we will eventually get to talking about Miracle Growth. All right. Tell me your thoughts, Chris.
Okay, so love the story. Absolutely. We were just talking a second ago because I'm not actually a horror reader. And how I ended up writing horror and getting involved in horror anthologies and all that, I'm still not quite sure, but I love it. And I have been expanding a bit more lately and watching horror movies and reading a bit more.
I'm so proud.
And I absolutely loved the story. I love the characters. I love the journey they were going on. There was so much going on, but it's very personal the way he keeps the story grounded with a couple of characters he does. And I love the story so much.
I know, it's so great, isn't it? Like that small town feel is through this whole thing when it's such a huge just mind fuck, really, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I've written a few notes down, and this is my kind of sum up of what I think of this book. Tim, forgive me. I love you, remember. So to me, it's Alice in Wonderland on speed meets Little Shop of Horrors with some Evil Dead thrown in for good measure. So anyone who's interested with this book, if you like these things, this is the book for you. It is some twisted mindfuckery, and it's just so brilliantly Tim. Like, even without, and sorry, there will be spoilers, even without there being traditional tentacles in this book, Tim still manages to get tentacles in there. Like, what the hell, boy? So yeah, that was kind of like my, yeah, that's what this book is. If you like those
Cheers things, on tentacles without tentacles.
Cheers on tentacles without tentacles. It's a skill, I tell you. This man has a skill. And I just thought it was hilarious. I also jotted down some questions that, I mean, I'm going to have to answer as well, which will be interesting. I haven't actually thought about my own answers, but I reckon these are some of the things that came up. So first thing for me that came up, who was your favorite character?
My favorite. See, I have my little kind of thing. I started writing little cheat sheets of books I read because I read really fast, like I binge read. So I forget, which kind of sucks because I don't remember things. It's also kind of nice because then it's like when I want to go back and reread it, I don't remember anything. Yeah. Which, it's nice. It's like reading your favorite book over and over and over again for the first time.
I'm envious of that. I read something and I can almost quote it. Nothing leaves this elephant's memory, man.
So my favorite was Bill Finch.
Ah, awesome.
With his mom, a very close second.
See, I
Very
loved
close
Ruth.
second.
I thought Ruth was fabulous. She
was awesome.
She had some top quality lines, man. The humor mixed into this psychotic adventure. And I say that with all love and respect because it is a psychotic adventure. It is such a psychotic adventure, but so fun and twisted. So yeah, I totally love Ruth. And I've this is what, so Ruth, for anyone watching, Ruth is a biologist who comes into it quite early, and she's investigating what the hell is going on with the crops. And I mean, you know, she's kind of presented very intelligent female, but she has a different side, and you see these other little sides. And one of my favorite lines of hers was when one of the characters finds the vicar has snuck some porno mags in, and he's like, "Oh, vicar," and Ruth is just like, "It's only a couple of porno mags, not a bloody 7 head. It's not even hardcore." I'm like, how would she know what hardcore porn is? I'm like, oh, this chick is awesome. She has layers. So that's totally my favorite character. But yeah, I totally get Billy Finn.
He cracked me up the whole time. He's just like, you know, you turn around, it just gets like hell in a handbasket every time he turns around. He's like, okay, deal with this shit now. What else is coming at us?
Yeah.
You know, and I just love that. And the whole time he's like got his mom.
Yeah.
And there's moments where he's just like, but I'm afraid of my mom.
Yeah. Like killer monsters, killer plants coming at you. No, I'll just do what mummy says. Like, okay.
Or like he's got to call somebody important. He's like, and the mom's like, tells him to close it. And he's like, I am going to do that because they'll listen to you better than me.
Yeah. It's like, fuck yes, this is brilliant. So I think that's fabulous. But all the characters, they have something to offer. Like it's even Marjorie. Like Marjorie's attitude. Like you don't even
you don't really get to see her. You get her impression mostly through Jim, her husband, and you get most of it through that. But it's the dynamic just is so funny.
Yes, and she's still this like full-on character. Like you could see these characters down at the local pub. Like
that's actually a note I wrote on what I love about this story. It just feels like a very lived in world. I could absolutely walk down to the bar and meet every single one of these people.
Right? Absolutely.
The good and the bad. Like, you know, the stoners who, you know, you're like, yeah, they're up to no good, you know.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, it's just everybody you meet in this world is just very real.
Yes.
I really felt that.
The stoners at the start, I was like, oh, Tim.
Oh, but I love how he's got the stoners and how we go off to something else. Yes. And then something's happening. And then you go off to something else. And you're like, oh, wait, but we're coming back to that.
Yeah. And everything gets tied up and loops.
It all comes right back to each other. And you're just like, okay, that's where that came from. That's where we're going with it. And I love that. It really kind of pulled things, just kept wrapping this world back around each other. It's like, you know, that small world, everybody knows everybody, small town mentality. And that's kind of like, oh, well, we met these people earlier, but we moved on from them. Oh, no, we didn't. We're coming back because, of course, they're further involved in everything.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And I love that it's like it's third person point of view for all the characters. And we get multiple point of views, but I love that we know more than the characters do.
Yes.
Like they may never get that answer, or they may, but we know it. And so that tension is like so much more intense for us because we know, we're like, oh God, no, don't go in there, or
right,
you know, like it's so freaking cool. Now I have to ask, were you able to eat while you were reading this?
I have not ate since I finished it. Now, I did not finish it that long ago, and I got pretty like iron cast stomach, so I think I'll be okay. But
makes you question the vegetable stew a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. The whole thing, like, and it's kind of funny because at the beginning you start talking about like, oh, guys out with a stomach bug, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, you're like, is it
oh no
really?
Yeah.
Oh God. And then you slowly go, yeah, it's really not. Oh, damn it. Oh God, it really is that.
And that is one of those things, like, and you're waiting for the people in the book to catch up, and you're like, no.
And how it all impacts. And like, I kept kind of wondering, like, will these people die? Will they not? That's what I love about it. You don't actually know how it's going to end. Yes. Because there's just so many elements. You're like, And yeah.
And there is somebody who died who I did not expect to.
Yes, that was me too.
But one thing I really liked about it too, I found really interesting that having worked with Tim and having listened to his videos and listened to him do readings and things like that, I hear him.
Me too.
When I'm reading this book, I heard his voice in my head, which was rather interesting because, as an American reading it and hearing Tim in my head, that was odd.
Yes, it's so British. That's what I love about this book.
And
British.
I told myself one of the things I want to do this year with, I'm trying to read more. And one of the things I want to do is read non-American authors. Because just about everything on my bookcase outside of like Shakespeare is an American author.
Oh, I love this. This is a fantastic
so that's kind of one of the things that I want to do this year is keep track of who I'm reading. Like, I want to see diversity in characters, but I also would like to see some diversity in my authors. That's something I'm kind of working on. But having read this, and I'm like, it's so not American. I mean, it's English, but it's not the English I use every day.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting because there are bits and pieces where I'm like, I don't actually know what that is. And I can get from the context of the sentence, but this is a word I don't use. I got to be honest, when I finished reading, I had to look up what amaro was.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, okay, that's some kind of vegetable. I got that. But I didn't, like, once I started reading, I didn't want to stop to look it up. And I was like, I'll figure it out eventually. And there are probably people who know exactly what that is, but I'm not exactly, a chef or anything. I don't like cooking. So maybe why I'm not so worried about carrots right now. But, but like things like that, like I had to look things up. I'm like, I get in the context of the story exactly what this is.
Yeah,
but
and that's what I love too. Like, even if you don't know the terminology, you're never kind of sitting there going, what the hell? I don't even understand what that means, because he's written it so well that it's like, well, yes, you can infer what the hell that means. But I love the Britishness. Being an Aussie, I'm a little more closer to that culture, I think.
Yeah.
But I just loved it. Like, the amount of cups of tea that I had in this book, I'm like, oh, you're so British. I love you so much. It's just like, yeah, if you're ever doubting it, nothing like a good cup of tea. Good cup of tea will fix everything.
Ivy's right there. Here's your tea.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's one of the reasons I loved her so much. She's like burning all these massive things. Have a cuppa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's a cup of tea. Yeah. And you can just see, you can hear Tim reading it, eh? You can just hear him going, oh, bollocks. I love it. It's absolutely awesome. And I have to, I'm going to have to ask Tim, because I don't know how to pronounce it, but this story is about the old god Gary Guthie? Gary Guthie? See, I have no idea. Just makes me feel so, I'm falling behind.
I know. I feel like I need to read some Lovecraft now.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell there's like this huge Lovecraftian influence, isn't there? Mm-hmm. Like this but I have to say, I was really impressed at how in depth it all went. Like, it wasn't just corrupted fertilizer. It wasn't just like idiots trying to make a quick buck. It went beyond and deeper and beyond that. And there's one line particular, and it probably will spoil it for people, so don't know if I'll keep it in, but I'll try. But one line that I just went, oh, I love that. It said, the vicar said a prayer to his God. He was answered by another. And I was like, oh, I really
yes,
like that.
I loved that.
So much deeper. Like, you know, you start it and there's all this humor thrown in through it, and the banter is brilliant, and the characters are so well rounded. But then you get this like this deep history into it all, like the media that created the town, like
right,
like they mention it, but you don't even think about it again. You don't even think about it. It's
brilliant how it's just this little thing.
Yeah.
It's just this little thing that gets mentioned, and it's not something that just gets expounded on and put over and over and over again in the story, because we don't need that. There's a meteor, we know there's a meteor, and then later on,
it all explains.
It all came around that, and then how was that affecting what's happening now becomes a whole other thing.
100%.
Yes, and I love that. It's just this little drop. Yeah, and you just gotta wait and see where it's going with it.
I know, and that's and he did that with a few things, just these little, I'm just gonna go scutter, right? And then you come back, you go, holy shit, that was really important. Like,
yes,
wow. And yeah, I thought it was brilliant. Now the third question, everyone hates this question, and I ask it of authors, but I'm asking it of you and me as well. I haven't even thought of an answer. Describe this book in 3 words. I know, right? So I've just come up with 3 popped into my head. Twisted, terrifying, tentacles. So yeah, but there was so many. So I'm going to let you ruminate on that one for a bit.
I'm going to go vegetable payback.
Vegetable. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, they are brilliant. Yes. Vegetable payback. I love it. So I love this book. It was so much fun, which is so weird to say when it's this twisted horror and deaths and like such creepy twisted shit, but it was fun to read.
Like, there are these moments of just like gore and like viscera dripping, and you're like, ugh! But then the other character's like, I'm going to go vomit now. And you're like, thank you, let's get out of there. Go have a cup of tea with Ivy and we're all good and let's move on. And it's so fast paced. Like you see these things, but it doesn't let you dwell to the point of like, I'm going to get sick with them. Yeah. You have to keep moving because, we're following these people trying to solve this and get to the bottom of it and stop what's happening. So you don't get to stop and be like, ooh, I need a minute.
Yeah.
We don't get a minute because they don't.
No, and that's it. So, yeah. And that's it. You just pulled along the entire time. I did actually put a comment in as well. He has these amazing chapter, but also like section last sentences. They are some of the best hooks I have read in a book. I actually highlighted a few of them. I know. Look at me getting all organized.
What's up with that? You're all organized? What?
I know. What's up, man? Just things like, not even the fact his hand was glowing. And until that point, you didn't know that anything was wrong with this character. And you're like, sorry, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, shit. I can't put that down now. I need to keep reading.
Exactly.
And it's just like these hooks that just get into you, which after reading the story, it's kind of creepy, the hooks.
You have to honorable mention for a character. Jerry, the janitor.
Oh my God. I love Jerry.
That Elvis impersonator, Janitor, who I loved. I have it in my notes. I always put down like my favorite supporting characters.
I love it.
And Jerry was one. I also want to know what happened to the cop who hung up. He hung up on
and then
Ruth,
he also got the call.
and then he got the call and then let everything happen when he said it. Yeah. So I'm like, I want to know what Bill did to him after. Tim, I want a short story about what happened to the cop who hung up on the phone.
My question is he the one that Billy put into the church? I want that story. Maybe that's what he did. You know how Ivy mentions?
We just need more Tim.
Yeah,
more
we
Tim
do.
Stories.
Absolutely. I'm so impressed with it, but seriously, there were moments where I'm just like, I feel like I'm in like a dark, murderous version of Alice in Wonderland. When the tulips and all that stuff and the big thick vines and the flowers, and I'm like, and he mentioned something at some point where they like all like turn toward him like they're listening. And I'm like, oh my God, I just see like Alice on speed, which is funny because I'm pretty sure that whole story was created with someone high anyway. But but it just had such an Alice vibe. And then it just went dark. And oh my God, the super soaker. I have to mention the super soaker. I swear to God that absolutely. So you had like, you know how I said at the start, all that stuff, but then this humor, and this is the part of the thing that balances this scary stuff. And it's the humor that, honest to God, I was just seeing it in my head like hot fuzz. It was that kind of hilarious British.
I love that movie. Yes. I love that movie.
Yes. So it's like this total mishmash of all these bloody brilliant things. And I'm just like, and he's just done it such good justice. Like,
yes.
Such good justice.
I think it's one thing Tim does in general. Like his humor is just throughout everything.
Yeah.
When he wants to be creepy as hell, he is, but he's so good at like balancing the humor with it. I can't do humor. So I'm like always so impressed when I read that, and he just does it phenomenally.
He does.
Especially in the middle of the creep.
Yeah, exactly. And then he throws in just these lines or these cup of teas, and you're just like, oh my God. And you can't help but laugh. But you need that. It's like that release of the tension and the buildup of the fear. Like you need those little releases of like just laughter and okay, I can breathe. And then and then he ramps you back up again.
Exactly.
It's so well done. It's just ridiculously well done. So
well, you're talking about that scene with the glowing hand.
Yes.
And that scene kind of like takes you down a little bit because you're in a hospital and everything seems to be okay and you don't really know what's going on. You're kind of in somebody's head and you're kind of like, okay, this is weird, but it doesn't seem like anything crazy is about to happen. And then you get that line.
And then you get that line. Exactly. And you're like, oh God, I let myself relax for a minute. That was bad. And it was. He just does it so well. Like, so honestly, cheers, Tim. Well done for another great book release. Now, everyone watching, I know we've thrown a few spoilers and stuff out there, but do yourself a favor and go and get this book. It is brilliant. It is a fun read. Okay, if you don't like scary stuff, it's probably not the best, but if you're halfway there, give it a try. It's brilliant. I will chuck the links down where you can purchase this in the comments. I'll also put the links down for Tim where you can go stalk the creepy bugger. So, Chris, thank you so much for doing this read with me. And
so much fun.
Doing the review. And we'll have to catch you later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.